Now we got English up here. That's good to say. We got Papii up here. We got Hooter up here. I was like sitting down on my desk and I was like, okay, we got like an hour. I'm going to chill out for a little bit, play some tunes, and I come into a whirlwind of mess in Discord.
I
Yeah.
didn't know we changed at
Yeah,
different times.
daylight savings time. It's
Had
a
no
thing.
idea.
Great.
Huda, stop it, dude. Stop it. You're literally on the East Coast,
same,
dude.
Because he.
same. I thought 7. I'm like, red. I'm like, all right, I got an hour.
Sorry,
Chilling.
man.
I was free. Nah, I mean, hey, it happens. Daylight savings caught me way off guard, so you're not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna just say to do 7, so I went to go grab a slice of pizza. Like I ping everybody, like, okay, I guess we're doing it at 7. You know, like, and it's not foreign to me because like I had a different show earlier, and my other co-host is like in, I don't know, Nicaragua or something, and apparently they didn't change the time, so he was confused too. So I was like, okay, he's just doing his Europe time thing. And then I'm go make a slice of pizza, and then like Crusher's like, I started the space. I was like, okay, well that's cool. I guess we're doing this.
But English.
So
But
yes, sir.
did you know they don't change like over? I don't know if it's all Europe, but they don't change like we do. Like we change earlier.
Correct.
I didn't know
They
that.
don't
That's what I
change-
didn't know. Like caught me off guard.
I did know that. So it's just one of those tools that you get in life and learning experience, especially in Web3. I know you haven't got there yet, but you know,
Working my
slowly
way.
but surely. Welcome everybody to the Little Noun Show at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern, promptly every Monday. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Got a fantastic show. I know we're joined over here by Papii. I believe head of Web3 at Quirky, so we'll get a chance to get to know him and what that means exactly. We have a friend of the show, Brennen. Brennen Nouns, pretty well known noun esports nouns. Um, Big builder in the space, big builder in nouns. He has a prop up. He wanted to come up and talk about it. I'll make sure to get a ping. We'll talk to him a little bit later. Just a friendly reminder: we are sponsored by Little Nouns DAO, fantastic DAO funds builders. So if you're into content creation, if you're into dev work, philanthropic events, you have a specific talent and don't mind proliferating the meme of the nouns, the noggles, whether that's art, visual art, dancing, singing, all that good stuff we like to think. So definitely encourage you guys to reach out to us. We do have a good amount of money in the treasury in Ethereum. I would try to say how much it is in USD, but this damn chart just keeps going up. BTC, Ethereum. So I I have no idea, man. Bull is back, baby. Bull is back. BTC all time highs, Ethereum yearly highs. Feeling good, feeling good. Um, with that said, do we have a nouns um, wrap up, Mr. Cardno?
Yeah, I can give you a nouns wrap up. And also, just while you're speaking about like what it is in USD terms, I'm sure we were sat here maybe a month or 2 months ago saying Little Nouns, come into Little Nouns. We've got like just over 1 million to fund builders. Well, I've just checked down. We just peaked over 2 million USD. So yeah, we've got over 2 million USD in the Little Nouns treasury to support any builders who want to come and build with us on chain. Yeah, so I usually do the Little Nouns and the Nouns news. I'll start with the Nouns news. There's currently 3 active props. A proposal for Nouns Protocol Guild short film. I won't labor on too much about that because it's got like over 100 votes to 0 already, so that's pretty much passed. There's also a proposal for a docu-series, and I'm going to try and pronounce it, but I think you actually said this word at the start of the show in English, just randomly. What did you say that way one of your hosts was from? Nicaragua.
I want you to say it one more time just for my comedic entertainment.
Is this going to get snipped in post?
I'll say I'll say it with my Spanish thing. Nicaragua.
Nicaragua. No,
Damn.
Nicaragua.
You were right there, bro. You were right there.
That was beautiful, bro.
I get
Papii,
stage fright.
Papii, are you Hispanic? You have to be. Are you a Cuban male?
No, my wife's a Latina though. She's
Okay,
Boricua. So
so
I'm
you're
just a
Papii to her because
token white guy. Yeah, I'm a Papii to her.
okay,
I'm
yeah,
Italian and Irish.
because I'm a Cuban male from Miami, and I feel a little bit odd calling another grown ass man Papii, but we'll do it. We'll do it anyways.
I lived in Miami for 8 years, so I feel you. It was like I did it because of Champagne, Poppy, Drake. You know, there's many reasons. We'll get to it, but
all right, fantastic.
Hialeah's finest right here, bro.
All right, Papii. All right, go ahead, Cardinal. Sorry.
Yeah, so there's a proposal to fund a docu-series in that location you just mentioned a few times there that I can't pronounce, and also a Nouns by Hope Austin Park art proposal as well, which is seeking 950,000 USD to complete the construction and produce ribbon cutting events that will highlight the Nouns community, which we'll get to speak to Brennen about more later, so I won't go too much into that. Heading over to Little Nouns now. Currently 2 active proposals. One's to implement a dynamic quorum fix. Not that sexy in terms of the content there, but I implore you to check that out. It's proposal 188 and also proposal 189, which is to onboard developers to Little Nouns through ETH Global London and Prop House, and that ends in 2 days as well. So I think that's got just over 100 votes at the minute, so it needs a bit of a push towards quorum. So if you hold a Little Nouns Now token, head over to littlenounds.wtf, check out the proposals and get voting. Lastly, I know we speak about Prop House, but there hasn't been much change since the last show. However, people who listen to the show will know I'm involved in something called Artist Program, which I'll pin up the top here. Coming soon, our inaugural round for Artist Program is going to be on Prop House, March 25th. If you're an artist, you know an artist in the space, you want to get funded, push some CC0 artwork out there. We're going to be giving grants of 0.3 Ethereum to over 100 artists over 5 rounds of Prop House. So check that out. Follow the Artist Program up top. Put the notifications on, and tell your friends who are artists as well. But yeah, that's all from me, man.
Very cool. So shout out to the artists there if you do looking to get funded. Which actually reminds me, it seems like our friends over at Verbs, who we had over, I believe, was it last week? They had their successful mints, and a couple of artists got paid. I think it's 20% of something of that auction. And I don't know if there's any further things. So shout out to the Verbs for a successful launch, and wish them the best in their Web3 journey. Mr. Huda, yes, Huda, our fantastic NFT strategist from Crypto Slam. I had to think about that for a second.
Sometimes
Huda,
you struggle with that part, but you nailed it.
I was like, what's his name, dude?
Yeah.
What's his name? All right. Yeah, that's you, Huda.
Speaking of names, how do you feel if I start calling you Sweet Papii instead of Sweet English?
Your other co-host is Papii, is too. So there's like you're surrounded by multiple Pappies. Isn't your Saturday co-host by Papii something Big Papii?
Oh, dude, you're right. No, that's Biggie Poppins. So it's close.
Oh, Biggie Poppins. Yeah. Okay,
I love that dude. All right. But anyway, yeah.
Good dude. He has some crazy takes, but that's fine. He's bearish on ordinals. But I mean, whatever, dude. Like, teach their own.
Just make sure you give him hell for it when that happens. Like, someone's got to keep that man in check.
When I wake up on Saturdays, and I'm like, oh damn, and I forget there's that show. I get a little excited. I'm like, oh, he's gonna give his bad takes. I can't wait to sit there and chat and clown him for it.
I think you said trade the opposite of everything he says.
It's like Saturday morning cartoons. Like, you know, when you're a kid, like you get to like wake up and you're excited to watch the Saturday morning cartoons. I feel that way about your YouTube stream.
I love it. Hey, dude, that's a huge compliment. Thank you.
It is.
Like,
yeah,
appreciate that.
It's a fantastic stream. All right. Anyways, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, dude, what a special day today, because while Bitcoin has touched all-time high recently, and maybe it passed it for a moment or two, I'm like actually confused about this if we did actually pass all-time high a few days ago. But regardless, today is the day we smashed through that all-time high and remained above it. Right now at like 72,600. So beautiful, beautiful time here in the crypto markets. We are in uncharted waters right now for crypto and the NFT market. And I say that because the last time we were in a crypto and NFT bull market, well, ordinals didn't exist, and NFT traders were not so keen on exploring other blockchains. So this time around, the bull market arrives with a much more mature ecosystem to greet it. And by ecosystem, I don't just mean the platforms and tools, but it's the traders too, right? They're armed with experience, and they just might be trading differently this time around. In fact, some in the Ethereum NFT scene are starting to wonder if traders are pricing NFTs in USD value, because the market, while still reasonably hot, prices sure as heck aren't. Now, I'm going to save my thoughts on this part, for the most part, for when we get in our discussion, because I do hope we touch on it. But I'm going to say I don't think traders are pricing in USD. I think we learned some hard lessons in the bear market. A lot of people learned how low these NFTs can go, and really, they learned a lot about utility of the NFTs, like really how much utility they do or don't have. So we'll get into that. I want to hit on some data points here for the past week in NFTs. Curious if any of this is surprising to you guys, because to me, well, I thought the market was down significantly, but it wasn't. Last week, we finished with 397 million in cross-chain NFT sales, down just 7% from the prior week, which was our 2024 high. Now, we're down in just about every category, and maybe that's what I was feeling. Unique sellers down 19%, unique sellers down 19%, unique buyers down 26%, total transactions down 21%. Average sales price, though, that was up 18%, and that's what really offset all those other declines this week. Your top NFT collection in the past 7 days, no surprise here, it was the Node Monkeys, over 18.5 billion in sales. Now, the Bored Apes were your top Ethereum collection, but Yuga Labs just keeps getting hit with endless FUD, just wave after wave, and their collection floor price is really struggling here. Mutant Apes in particular, well, they've fallen below their 3 ETH mint price for the first time ever. I'm not just going to pick on Yuga Labs here, though, because it is all of Ethereum right now that's struggling. Pudgy Penguins saw this massive sell off too, and they had to be rescued by this pair of liquidity injectors who helped get rid of some bad loans over on Blur. So, Ethereum, while down, it is still your top selling blockchain in the past week, 147 million in sales. Bitcoin sales, though, fell 35%. So, that ecosystem, that's really your biggest loser here. Now, we'll do a quick NFT LDR on the biggest happenings here in the past week, starting with that massive $16 million CryptoPunk sale last week. That was the second highest punk sale ever and really felt like a milestone for this new NFT cycle. Next, we got Kevin freaking Rose. Not sure what the man's doing because he's selling most of his NFTs. He's burning his ENS addresses, and then he says he's not leaving NFTs. I'm not sure I buy what the man's selling. Jack Butcher, on the other hand, I'm buying what he's selling. Jack announced that OPEPin V2 is coming on March 29th. That's going to bring with it a change to the UX of OPEPin and the opt-in mechanics. So I'm really excited to see what he's bringing there. Sony this week filed for a patent for super fungible tokens. Portalcoin announced they're hosting a worldwide Dota 2 tournament this month. Matt Fury launched his first ever generative PFP collection called the Peplicator. Cyberkongs migrated their assets to the Ronin blockchain. We saw a massive $10 million loan taken out against a bunch of CryptoPunks. Really cool thing here. There were 5,000 unique lenders, so pretty wild, showing the growth of this space. Yuga Labs Dookie Dash beta, that launched on the Apple App Store, and for a while that got taken down, or maybe there was so much download volume there it got knocked down. People absolutely love that games, man. I've got to try this thing. Taproot Wizards team announced some Quantum Cats are upgradable to a Taproot Wizard, so that's pretty cool. And then Ubisoft, their Watch Dogs IP, it's going to make an appearance in the Cross the Ages game over on Immutable X. There, of course, is a ton more going on. I'm sure some stuff I didn't hit. Itching to get to this convo today because there's a couple guys up here I'm looking forward to chatting with. So, English, sir, back to you.
Yeah, thank you for that wonderful market report and catching us up all to speed. The thing that really caught my mind is how Ethereum's performing, mainly because I did see on the timeline. I don't know if Papii said it himself or it was a comment, and I commented on it because I have a strong belief that as the underlying asset goes up, so should the JPEG. In this particular case, so should the NFT. It tends to happen in higher collections, and it tends to happen over a wider time frame. So, like I think initially, when you see a violent move up, yes, you will see. If an Ethereum goes up, you will see like if it's 1 ETH, it'll go down temporarily. But on the top collections, the one that most people trade, the ones that people are most bullish on, in theory, in 2021, we saw them move with a correlation, a one-to-one correlation, positive correlation rather. And we've seen it in Solana. So, like in these ecosystems that are kind of being, I know Solana's been around for a while, but I don't think it's been in its like emerging type of, premier collections the way we're looking at them now, primarily Mad Lads. And then obviously with Ordinals, we've seen it as well as the asset has gone up. I can cite to OMB, Node Monkeys. I mean, you're talking about 30,000 Bitcoin to, bordering on 75, over 2x, and these prices have been going up. So that's kind of interesting to me. The one thing I thought about Ethereum is that it's a more mature ecosystem and people are not doing fresh mints and there's no price discovery necessarily. They're just trying to kind of get back, and people might be hesitant to deploy more capital. So that's my only thought on there. I mean, there was tons to cover, but I do want to get into talking with Papii. So Papii, officially welcome to the Little Nouns Show. How are you doing, my friend?
Dude, I'm stoked, man. First off, just excited in general. So many great things are happening in life. I have a newborn, Web2 business doing great. I'm really loving the crypto vibes, and I'm also excited to be here. I think English, we've probably crossed paths. I know Cardano and I have crossed paths on the timeline. Crusher too, I believe. Um, but it's just good to connect. I one of the big things for this year that I was really big on doing was just networking with everyone who's passionate about Web3 and NFTs, and really trying to bring everyone together and elevate the space. So yeah, pumped to be here. Thanks guys for doing this.
Yeah, very cool. I've definitely seen you on the timeline. And for those that hasn't, let's maybe just start with a fresh recap of who you are, how you got into this space, like your journey into crypto, your journey into Web3, and then maybe we'll talk about what you actually do in Web3, and that might be a great place to start.
Yeah, definitely. So, I'll summarize because I think, I don't know how long we're going to be on here, but, I think we could cover a lot of good topics. I don't want to bore you with the history, right? No autobiography, but I got involved in crypto in 2015, completely random. I was trying to be an entrepreneur at the time. I wanted to. One of my friends pitched me this idea of like the laptop lifestyle, and I faded him a little bit, and then he ended up getting a nice new BMW, and he was traveling, and I'm like, all right, dude, let's do it. So I started to be an entrepreneur, and failed miserably. Made no money for the first 2.5 years. Um, had to move back in with my parents. I was about 70 grand in debt. This was before I moved to Miami. I was in Jersey. But during that time, I was doing a lot of personal development, which I had never done before. Self education, um, will make you a fortune, and traditional education will make you a living. And so, like, I had my college degrees, I did all that, but I had people put books in my hand that were like progressive, how to win friends and influence people and stuff like that. And, I'm just growing. And during that time, this guy that I met on Facebook from Lagos, Nigeria, the most random place in the world for a kid from New Jersey to connect to, tells me about Bitcoin and blockchain. Ended up gifting me my first Bitcoin, my first crypto transaction, helped me set up my first wallet, and literally changed my life, bro. And he's been super blessed. He had been stacking Bitcoin. He was involved in a some type of like an early mining program, and he had hundreds and hundreds of Bitcoin. I actually haven't talked to him in a couple of years, but last time I talked to him, he had moved his whole family to Canada, and really cool story. Made obviously millions, but he changed my life, and I'm really grateful for him. I always give him credit everywhere that I tell the story. And I just started dollar cost averaging, researching, going on YouTube. I would type in like top 5 cryptos and like watch all those videos, and just make decisions. And I started stacking random stuff: Dogecoin, Cardano, Stellar Lumens, Dot, all this, different blockchain and crypto tech. Throw, $100, $500, whatever. And my business in Web 2 started to really take off. I did very well. I still do really great. I have built myself some really good residual incomes. I also am uh, kind of third in command. I hate titles, so they've tried to give me all these titles, C-suite titles, but I'm like, yeah, I don't really care. But I'm really third in command for a company that pretty well, and so it's been great, and I've been a part of. I've been able to dollar cost average crypto for the last really 8 years consistently. And about 2 years ago, I found NFTs. I was coming fresh off a rug in crypto that I was freaking so passionate about. I even tried to buy the product and the tech at the end, but it was a dead end. The too many people had tokens that wanted nothing good for the project besides the Ethereum out of the liquidity pool, and I realized I was fighting an unwinnable battle. So I lost about $1 million and of hard-earned crypto. And a buddy of mine said, "Hey, look, why don't we
Did you
start
say
to
you
dabble?"
lost $1 million?
1 million, yeah. I mean,
How did
not
you lose
even
a
elite.
million
How much?
dollars in coins? Like some rug? Like what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I was. It was a crypto project that
Got it.
I was super bullish on, and I was just buying a shit ton of it, thinking that I could save it, thinking that like I really believed in their vision. Um, and ultimately it didn't work out. Logan Paul rugged the shit out of that project as well, which didn't help. And my buddy said, "Hey, why don't we go to NFTs?" So I said, "All right, I'm down. I want to change a pace, man." Like that was brutal. Um, and so I got into first World of Women, Proof Collective. I bought a Proof Pass right when they first started, before even Grails won. I bought a Proof Pass for like 780. Um, and I found Board Ape Yacht Club after that. Started really falling in love with NFTs, and then I found Quirkies maybe 2-3 weeks after, um, which I loved, and it really it from that point forward, it's really what's captivated my attention, my energy, my passion for being in the space. So that's the 30,000 foot view of
I
where
think that was
and
yeah,
when.
no, I thought that was a great recap. So that brings us up to Quirkies, and I believe you are the head of Web3 of Quirkies. Is that right?
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
sir.
So what was your journey? So I remember Quirkies minting. I remember something happened and it didn't really do too well, and it was below mint. I remember this vividly because I think Cardno and Crusher minted and papered the hell out of it, and then it mooned. I think the board ape.
I'd actually forgot I minted that project until you just mentioned it.
Oh, I remember. I remember because we were struggling. We were just starting. We had, I know that you had kind of like Cardinode checked Web3 out in 2021, like late 2021. I had like looked at it from the outside. Like I knew of Board Ape Yacht Club. I tracked the price. I would go to Rarity Sniper and look at them, but I didn't know crypto Twitter was a thing. I didn't know Discord. I didn't really know how to buy it. I thought I observed it as like a phenomenon until we kind of met up Cardno with Crusher and a couple of other people. And I remember that was like in our early days, and we were struggling to make it. And I remember like like
Yeah.
one of the
So
ones. Go ahead, Poppy. Yeah. No,
no,
go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead. You're good.
I was just gonna say, like, I just remember specifically, as you mentioned, the Board Ape Yacht Club rallied around this one project, and it seemed to do extremely well from then on. And I think till this day, it's doing phenomenal. And maybe I'm wrong on this support from the Board Ape Yacht Club, but that was always the narrative that was given to me, and it seems that you met this community via Board Ape Yacht Club. So maybe just talk about the early days when you got into the project, what you saw, what was the phenomenon going on.
Yeah, so the project minted at point oh 0.05. It was a point oh 0.05 mint, 5,000 pieces, in a time where projects were 8 to 10K, mostly 10. So February 2022, actually opened up OpenSea because I got in like week 2, but it was a straight rocket. When I got in, I want to say it was like the first week of March or first or second week of March. Um, I mean, floor was already point. My first entries were like point 2, point 3. So it didn't go below mint, maybe, but
I
there's
thought it did. I
always
think
big
I'm
narrative.
pretty sure it did. I'm pretty sure. I think it went like for the first week, it went under mint.
We're talking Quirkies.
I'm not 100% certain, but
Ashley's here. Ashley's here. The first week I wasn't in, but I've never heard that part of the story. If it did, I think it was like this is what I know, right? I got in like week 2. I actually bought two because one of the guys that I was trading apes with, like at that time, I didn't really know anybody in NFTs, so I'm like meeting people in the Bored Ape Discord randomly, and like I made a few mistakes in NFTs early because I really thought like rarity mattered and trumped all things. And I realized that, especially when I got into Bored Apes, that it was more about aesthetic, and there's certain traits like, black hat, flip brim, red, certain traits people liked, certain traits were like, not so much, even if they were rare. And one of the guys that I built a really good friendship with, he posted Quirkies on Twitter. And so and Ashley just texted me. She said it went under mint briefly, and then Dingling came in and swept, and it went back under. There you go.
Freaking
So I've
dingling.
actually
I know my NFT
freaking
history.
ding.
I know my NFT history, my friend.
You are good, English. You are good. So I mean, look, in 2 years nobody's ever said that. But anyway, when I got in a week later, it was way above. So, so I I got a couple. Do anything really. I just liked the art. I was like, dude, this is pretty cool. And there was a couple guys in the community that were like, yo, you need to get a one of one. We're starting a DAO. We have an exclusive group. We really want you to be a part of it. And they offered me a really nice deal. I think at the time I spent maybe a couple ETH on a one of one, and they were selling for 6 or 7. The guy really hooked me up. And I said, okay, cool. You know what? I'll do it. And so I joined this group, and literally a week later, 3 or 4 people in the group that are just basically accusing the project of being a rug. Like the royalties are too high. There's too much money being made. Like we should try to take this over. And I was like, is that really why you guys put me? Like, why am I in this chat, bro? It's like, it was very toxic and unproductive and not accurate. So I developed a friendship with Sin, talked to him about the vision, what he wanted to do. I really like the guy. I'm a businessman, not a, emotional coup starter for Web3. I just wanted to collect it. I'm like, what kind of drama is this? And so I just buckled down and really fell in love with the community, the people, the vision, the mission. And I've always been dedicated since then. And yeah, we had one night we were on a random space. Quirkies were like point 0.3, point 0.4. And we did spaces 7 nights a week. And there was one guy who I did a huge Bored Ape deal with. We did, the deal was a couple hundred each. And I forget exactly which one it was, but it was like a really rare ape that I bought from him. And he randomly jumps in the space and sweeps like 20, 30 quirkies. And he's like, dude, this is dope. Like, let's run it. Before I know it, he's shilling it in the Bored Ape Discord, in all the chats. He's telling all Bored Ape guys, let's run this. We're going to flip doodles. Like, we're going to push this thing to 10E. And so all of a sudden, all these people start emerging into Quirkies
Tell you what, guys,
based off
hearing from
this
Wales,
narrative that
they
we're going to
play it
flip
different.
doodles and, we're going to be this like 10th project. And I start sweeping because I'm excited. And, I end up with 30, 40, 50. And to end this chapter, and I'll throw it back to you, that person ended up accumulating like 80 to 100 and then getting in a fight with the guy who had like 200 or so. Um, and they both ended up dumping. That caused 2 other big holders to dump. And that's when I got serious. I was like, there's no way, like, I love this project. There's no way that I'm just going to let it die. And so I started making some moves, sold mutants, apes, buckled down, built the collection, built the community, brought in some Web2 homies, and, the rest is kind of history. So that's kind of that's the back end of the story.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story, and you did go over like what accounted for like the momentum, and sometimes there's like that lightning in a bottle effect. It's just the right time, the right place, the right community that rallies around it. But I don't think that that necessarily accounts for the longevity. And I know it might be a little bit faux pas to kind of talk about floor price, but it is significant in this current kind of climate to have a floor price of 1 Ethereum. I'd say it's very strong based on a lot of projects' floor price, which is an indicator of sentiment to a certain extent. And so, what do you attribute to that? Like, what has the Quirkies been about? What have you done? Fomented in the community or fostered? Um, what is Quirkies about? What's accounted for its longevity?
It's a great question. Hopefully, I can match it with a great answer. I think there's a couple components. Every good project has lasted through the bear has magic to it, right? You can look at, all the like I would call them like mainstream ETH, especially ETH, right? Because I think Huda was talking about ordinals or somebody, Solana, very new. Not a lot of history there yet. That history, we're in the middle of it. We're building it now, which is amazing. I love that stuff. But through ETH chain, we've built history. And I think there's a couple factors for us that create magic. Every project that made it through the bear has that some type of magic. There's something, especially if they're trading at zero point 0.5 or above in a 4,000 ETH market. Like we're approaching all time high. So, number one for Quirkies, I would say it's the people. I always tell when I talk to new people about the project, if I'm on the phone, I do a lot of one-on-one onboarding. So like if anybody ever wants to jump on a Discord call or a Twitter call and just like pick my brain about Quirkies, maybe they're thinking about coming in. I love that stuff. To me, that's very productive. If I can spend 20, 30 minutes and get a holder that believes the vision and potentially the holder for life, that's good time spent for me. And so one of the things that I've been telling people is like, look, the blockchain doesn't lie. You can go look at the top 20, 30, 40, 50 holders and look at their pattern of behavior. But you could also look at data and we have a new contract, so it makes it a little bit harder. But you can look at we have a new contract that's 9 months old, so you can look at that and see people that have never moved an asset, holders that have only added. But we have a lot of people that minted and still hold what they mint. And look, does that make us an outlier project? No, but it speaks for the community that we have. And our whales are incredible. Like, I have a great relationship with all of them, and that makes a difference. So that's one factor, is the people. But people make every project in Web3. That's what it is, right? It's IP plus people equals magic. And I think that brings us to the second point. We have an IP that, to me, is very relatable. Whether you're 8 or 80, I think you can make sense of it, right? It may not be the coolest thing for somebody who's more of an alpha. Maybe, some of the cute traits are not really your style. But at the end of the day, if we're thinking about Web3 being a launch pad for intellectual property to be birthed on chain and then to go out and scale in the real world and bring more people back, Quirkies is a very intriguing brand. And it's not just theory, it's fact. We're having conversations with people. I never thought that I'd have conversations with executives from some of these companies that we are. And we just signed the deal with Macroverse. We can touch on that in a little bit. But we're working on building the IP, building comics, and eventually working to get this stuff, into motion picture, TV. So there's a lot there. And I think the IP, because it's friendly, it's family friendly, there's no smoking traits, there's really no violence. But it appeals to different personalities. I think that is one of our pieces of magic. And then I would say the last piece is the idea of streetwear action sports and how beautifully it ties into the art and the culture of what we do. Um, so I'll keep this brief and then I'll throw it back. But we're building, not just dropping, hey, here's a hoodie, here's this, here's that. Because I know Web3 loves to bash black hoodies, which I actually like. So projects I'm a part of can drop dope black hoodies. I mean, I prefer it, right? But it's not a utility. What we're building is a streetwear and apparel brand. And I always see what we're doing as kind of the Web3 supreme, where we can be dynamic in dropping accessories, be dynamic in dropping different types of SKUs, be a little bit exclusive. And then we're also tying in the smart chip NFC, the smart tech NFC chip um, into most of our stuff. And we have a lot of good plans with that long term. So that's kind of, in my opinion, the magic. I also have a massive Web2 uh, like Rolodex, if you will. And I've worked to onboard a lot of people from Web2 that are crypto friendly, that are traders. People talk about onboarding new people to the space. Um, I'm actively talking to 3 to 5 new people a day, and I could have conversations for a few years because of what I do in Web2. My whole network is traders, so I think that gives us a slight advantage. But I don't just want to, and I'll say this too, I don't just want to elevate Quirkies. I want to elevate everything around us, because it's selfish to get up every day and go, I want Quirkies to be the best project ever. I want Web3 to win. There's a lot of projects that I love and that I hold. And so, even with you guys, I'd love to figure out how we can not just sit on spaces for an hour, shake hands, walk away. How can we do this together? And how can my efforts also pour back into your cup?
Yeah, very cool. Good to know. Yeah, I mean, like the Nouns as an ecosystem has some precedent of collaborations, even if we don't do something specifically as a collaboration. But we did do an official collaboration with Pudgy Penguins for one of their plushies, one of their premier plushies with the noggles. Yeah, so
Yep.
yeah, so definitely, I think we're in a different time into Web3. I feel like 2021, 2022, like everyone's like, oh, I own this. I'm going to go into this token gated place and like I'm going to be in my spaces and you do your things and we're kind of, versus. And I feel like we're in a much more collaborative environment. At least that's the way it feels. I know you mentioned ordinals and Solana. People have like multiple, chains in their wallets, whether, that's Magic Eden or Phantom. And I do expect more wallets to be like that. So good to know. I do remember like the streetwear stuff because I remember I was part of the Quirklings Mint and they did some collabs and it was the first time that I heard the founder speak, I believe. And so I checked it out. I saw the streetwear and I was actually pretty surprised because as you mentioned, it wasn't just kind of merch. It was kind of like a lifestyle brand. So good to know that you guys are still doing that. You did mention about like IP and potential, like, I don't know, is it film or animations? Tell us a little bit about that more. You said we could go back to it. That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah. So, in terms of the entertainment side, I think, look, I've been in the space for 2 years and you hear people talk about IP, IP, IP. Um, Being a part of Board Ape for almost the entire duration of my journey here, one thing that did get me excited was when they rolled out Made by Apes because it incentivizes people to build, right? You're dangling the carrot and saying, hey, you've got connections, you've got the ability to produce something, go do it and use our IP to do so. This is how we're going to grow the brand. Um, for me, I see IP a little bit different. I think about, and probably because I've had some friends who have, like, I have a friend who works for Pixar. I have another friend who has built some really massive brands, and I've connected with people that have built crazy IP, and they've they've kind of passed forward that belief to me that we could do it too. And everybody has this dream, like I hear this all the time. We're the next Disney. We're the next this. We're the next that. And all of that is great. I do believe good IP is being birthed from Web3. But what is the game plan from a practical standpoint? Like in my real business, I can't just say my fantasies to the team. They're like, okay, you have a plan, you want to do a campaign, like what's your strategy? And so we got connected to the team at Macroverse, which I believe that is very underrated. I think that they've got a lot of talent. I think that they're navigating Web3 and one of the guys there, Adam, has literally crushed it in Web2 with comics and stuff. So we opened dialogue with them, and I actually wanted to lean back into comics because that's something that when I first got into Quirkies, that's how Sin told the story. Everything we told, all the stories, everything was done through comics, whether it was what's coming, what's the drop, even Quirklings. There were comics leading into that. And I felt like we needed to go back to comics and make it a huge pillar to how we do everything. Um, and so we get on the phone, and not only did these guys give us the practical avenue, but they said, look, we'll get back to you in a couple of days. We'll source writers, we'll source artists with experience, we'll get you in with a good publisher, we'll get you in with a good distribution partner. And literally a week later, they came back with Penguin Random House, Titan Publishing, a really good artist and a really good writer and a story. And I was like, dude, this is nuts. Like, most people just talk. We have deliverables in 7 days. And, um, I had a call with them today and they came back with a strategy on how we launch our Genesis comic. And their goal is for this to be a top 10 all time comic sale. And I actually think at first I was like, yo, y'all are crazy because top 10 means 500,000 copies plus. Top 7 is a million plus, which is Star Wars and then like some other like really historical great stuff. But they put together a strategy that I actually think we can do it, which would not just help Quirkies, but we have a plan to bring the space along with us, and it would be a pudgy like moment in the virality of distributing something real into Web2, and that personally gets me excited because we don't want to just sit around and leech off our holders. Yes, we have apparel and our holders love it and they get discounts and we're happy, but that's not why we're doing it, right? Like my cousin is let me hold on one second. Let me just handle this. Give me one sec.
Yeah, take your time, my friend. No
You're good.
worries.
You're good. You're good. He, my cousin is special needs, and he's got his iPad rolling from about 6 p.m. to midnight, and he would call probably 100 times in a row. And trust me, I love talking to him, but right now I had to take care of that. So
Well, you're a good man.
one of the
You're a good man, my friend, for taking care of him. Yeah.
appreciate that's one of the biggest reasons why I grind. So he never has to live in a home that's not his. Um, so anyway, look, I really believe that we will help the space expand, gain more credibility. And look, like it's common knowledge if you Google or open up ChatGPT and you look at the success of comics as a launch pad for a brand. There's a few really good avenues, and I want to play at that level. I want to create the next, big household name IP that transcends, age demographics. And so comics, I believe, like 40% of IP starts with comics or something, and like most of them, if they don't start there, they go there, and the list is pretty incredible. So that's exciting. I think it could lead to, you know, TV deals. We're gonna shop TV and movie deals after probably 3 4 comics. After you do 8 to 10 comics, it gets real serious. So I mean, it gives us a footing at Comic Con. It allows us to network, and wherever God intends it to go, I believe it'll go.
Sounds very cool. You did mention about collaborations. It'd be cool if we could see some Noggles in one of those comics, and we could incorporate some of that. I know we've had a great animation or a movie, and a couple of people going the comic route. So if we could proliferate that, I'm sure that
Dude,
would
I
be open
have
to.
a great idea. Not to cut you off, but like
Go
as
ahead.
you
Go
were
ahead.
talking, I am actually so for the campaign we're doing to launch the Genesis comic. We'll get a couple details locked in. We have a lot of good ideas, but now we got to sit down, get the advisory board, and like just put framework. But I immediately when you guys were talking earlier, I thought, you know what, like this would be a really good fit. Um, so we will 100% have some dialogue, um, because I think you guys have a good framework to be a part of what we're doing. So that's super exciting.
Yeah, I'll link you up with Mike Good and Big Spite. Those are the two people that you want to get you through a proposal and maybe doing some collaboration. They always have great ideas too, and they're pretty well versed. Huda, what's on your mind, my friend?
I gotta know when Papii joined the Quirkies. He might have said it earlier and I missed it, but I'm curious. I'm doing some sleuthing here into historical prices in the collection. Just kind of curious
I mean,
now.
he only went over it for about 10 minutes, but go ahead, Poppy. Answer
Yeah,
Huda.
no, that's cool. I got so it was it was like week 2. So end of February 22, I'd say end of February, early March. So it was like, I think reveal was Valentine's Day, and I got in maybe a week or two after.
But
I think my first buy was like point 0.3, I want to say,
but that
in
was
that
your first
range.
buy. You work on the team now, right?
Correct.
And was that at the same time? Were you on the team back then?
No, I joined the team at Christmas of like 2 months ago.
That's okay. That's why I was curious because, like, if you guys can see my screen right now and the way the price has changed since Papii joined the team, it's absolutely bonkers.
What can you tell us? Can you tell us? Okay, so can you let's illustrate the point here. So, what are we talking about? What happened? What's the Poppy impact?
So I do this in USD value, which that's a no for price in Ethereum NFTs, but it's how I'm measuring it, right? So before Papii joined, and of course we're in the thick of the bear market, but still collection hanging around $900 average sale price, maybe 1,000. You got a couple months here where we're 1,200, maybe 1,500. Average sale price this month so far is over $5,000. Last month was basically $4,000. So a huge difference. Right when he joined, though, it doubled. So from December to January, it doubled. That's the Papii effect.
Poppy, to give you some context, he works as an NFT strategist at Crypto Slam and has been one of like the day one employees over there. So this is what he does for a living. He nerds out by data. So it's
I
not.
love it because I've been, look, first off, Huda, I love it because it's easier when somebody else says something that you're thinking than when you say it. And it's like self-loathing. So I don't want to be like the guy on Twitter, like, hey, by the way, because look, at the end of the day, floor price is super subjective. based on like a ton of different factors, and it is what it is, right? But I do think, and if we talk like ETH versus USD evaluations, you're gonna hear some passion on. I think USD val is super important, and if we're not factoring that, NFTs are in deep shit for the next couple years and maybe forever. But I appreciate that, and it feels good. I can say I really did deposit everything that I had into the space for 2 years and never asked anybody for anything. So when I joined the team, the amount of people that rallied behind it, it's the greatest feeling in the world. And most importantly, it was the community. The community, a lot of the community doubled down, and that's the best vote of confidence in the world right there.
Poppy, just to wrap up this interview, because we do have Brennen being so patiently waiting, and we do want to get to his segment, and we do have limited time here. Can you just give us like the what you plan for Quirkies? What do you see? I know you've mentioned the IP and the streetwear, but where would you like Quirkies to be in a year, 5 years, whatever your time horizon is? What are the big plans, or what are your hopes?
Yeah, I mean, look, in a perfect world, and we're gonna work towards it, right? But the perfect world doesn't always exist. In a perfect world, we are a globally recognized brand. You're talking to somebody random, and they've heard of it, or you know, and they've heard of it from maybe one of three or four ways. Maybe it's apparel. Maybe it's a big collaboration with an apparel brand. We are launching an energy drink in the next 60 days that is um, healthy and really really well done. Very excited about that. It is passion fruit flavored too, which is unique, and we have some really big stuff planned for that. In fact, it's got some big people interested, and so that's exciting. I mean, maybe they know the quirky energy drink. Maybe they know our brand because it's a TV show or a movie. Maybe they've played our game. Because I do have some stuff up our sleeve for that. That'll be pretty big when we're ready, and we're almost ready. So I think for me to summarize all of it, it's we're gonna build this IP in ways that don't dilute or confuse people, and we're going to push it out through avenues that all come back to the center. And if we can do that and elevate Web3 along with it and bring credibility and good people here that aren't just going, wow, NFTs are a scam, like that's mission accomplished for me. If our holders are happy, I'm happy. And we're just going to focus on delivering good quality stuff.
Well, Poppy, over here at the Little Noun Show, we do like doing a little cross pollination, learning about other projects, other people, and vice versa, getting to know each other. You've been fantastic here. Really appreciate you coming on. Do you see on the bottom there? There's someone called the Nounish Professor. I tried inviting her up, but she's actually the person who drafted the proposal for the collab of with Luca Nets and the Pudgy Penguins. So she might be a good resource if you want to do something like officially Noggles. Noggles are CCO, Nouns are CCO, so you really don't need our permission. I know Luca decided that he wanted like that official stamp just because he felt like that collab, that handshake was important. Oh, is she coming up? No, she's not. All right, never mind. Yeah, so that's somebody. Oh, she is. Here she is. Nounish Prof. I just gave you the intro.
I heard you. I'm driving, so I wasn't going to come up. But since you called me out, of course
I did.
have to.
I did.
You know exactly how to get me on a stage.
Oh, I know how to woo you. I know how to woo you. We had a candlelight dinner.
I know you should have been in Denver. Could have repeated, but
yeah,
well.
yeah. I'll be in New York.
I just caught the very end of Papii, and that was really interesting. Were you talking about the Pudgy Prop earlier? Is that I'm guessing?
Yeah, well, I was just kind of throwing it out there that he was doing IP and doing stuff, and he was kind of looking for projects to kind of work with. And I had mentioned that, and he said, in fact, Nouns might be one of them. And I said that we had some precedent behind it. And then sure enough, you popped in to the space. So I just figured I'd give him a good resource in case that was something that he actually wanted to pursue.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Just reach out, please. I'd be happy to chat about it. Sure.
I shot you a follow. And I just followed back a couple people who follow me from in here. I'd love to, look, we're going to pass it forward. I'm always very respectful of time. So thank you guys. Prof, I shot you a message, would love to jump on a call this week. If not this week, early next, whenever works for you. And English, Cardano, Huda, and everybody. Thanks, guys, for having me here. You know, I'm always happy to network with new people. I think it's the most important thing. If you hide under a rock, nobody knows what you're building. So you got to get out and tell the story. And people who are like your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So if I put my energy out there, the right people are going to want to be a part of Quirkies. They're going to want to buy one. I love supporting other projects, so I'd love to know how I can support you guys. My wallet tells the truth, and yeah, I think we could do some good stuff together. So I'm really looking forward to it. This is what we're all about.
Thank you so much. That's the exact reason we do this space, so we can get to know other communities and other communities get to know us. Definitely a win-win in this space. Crusher, I believe you're behind there quickly, and then let's get to Brennen so we don't take up more of his time.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to say, hey, Papii, I know you from Chimpers. I think we're in the group chat together, and yeah, but it's great. I've heard you speak a couple times before, including the chimpreneurship space or whatever it's called. I just mangled that, but yeah, it's always good to hear you, and thanks for coming up. And
So
yeah,
that's the
everything you said.
crusher. Okay, because there's
Oh
like
yeah,
four. There's like four crushers, and I can't even like delegate which one I'm talking to, but I'm happy it's this one. So good, appreciate you, bro. Yeah, we've been in Chimpers together for like probably a year and a half, maybe longer.
yeah, man.
Honestly,
Yeah.
Papii,
one of my other favorite projects. Love them.
has anybody ever told you that they remind you a little, that you remind them of a little bit of Gary Vee, both like in your voice and your
Yes,
energy?
I knew you were
Like,
gonna say it, bro.
I was
I knew you were
like,
gonna say it.
so I'm not the first one that's said that. Like both your energy, your cadence, your tone, like in a good way. Like I'm not saying that like the negative.
It's the
But you are
Jersey
like,
thing, right? Is he Gary from Jersey?
It's like
but
the
it's
Jersey, New York kind
but
of
but it's
swag.
not just, yeah, but it's not just the accent. Like it's also like the energy and
Yeah.
like the I don't know, just the context of what he talks about, like and I don't know, the passion, I
I
guess, the
feel it too,
passion.
man.
You got, all right. Well, that means good things.
That's a
Good things for
compliment.
Papii.
Now, if you were like, "Oh, you're like Kevin Rose," I'd delete
Ah,
everybody here.
shit.
So.
Fuck Little Nouns. I'm out. I bought a Little Nouns half an hour ago and I'm about to floor it. I'm out, guys. All right, Papii, you've been fantastic. Thank you
Appreciate you
so
guys,
much.
man.
I know you're probably busy, man. So if you have to head out, no hard feelings. We'll be about 10 or 15 more minutes with Brennen. If you want to hang out, you're welcome to. If not, no worries. With that said, Mr. Brennen, friend of the show, friend of ours, just friend of everybody's. What's going on, Brennen?
Yo, what's up? Not good, man. That was a really great conversation. Papii, yeah, pleasure to hear from you. And yeah, that was dope.
So for those that don't know, I think everybody knows you, but we do have some quirky kind of people over here. So Brennen, just quickly, you're a builder in the Nouns ecosystem. Just briefly tell what you've been worked on in the past, and then maybe we'll get into your current prop. Just a quick recap.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously been in the space, blockchain space for a really long time. Found Nouns in 2022, and pretty much, helped founded Nouns Esports with Sasquatch as sort of the big pilot piece that I've been working on. Did a lot of few smaller projects, proposals for Nouns for a while. And yeah, I think this is my second biggest one. I would say Nouns Esports was like my first big one, and this proposal that I just put up, 513, is one of the biggest ones I've been working on since September of last year. So I'm really excited to share it, and yeah, hopefully it resonates with a lot of people because it's pretty ambitious and it's really tapping into the real life events and project scheme of like getting Nouns outside of the Web3 bubble and start to interface with actual people.
All right, you want to?
Even though we are people here on the internet, but we're like internet. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. In fact, me, Cardno, and many people say like, hey, like if you can get out there in real life, meet to meet in person, it makes a huge difference. So I love both. I love both the fact that we can be in the comfort of our homes and hang out and chat and network, and I like the in real life stuff. So I am 100% with you. Can you walk us through what's the number of the prop?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the Hope Outdoor Gallery or Hope Art Park. So
Yep,
back in the day,
yeah.
Andy Skoll, longtime Austinite, was an artist at UT and sort of been in sort of the art scene in Austin for a really long time. She created this space for local artists to sort of like have walls to like do street art, do graffiti, present their work in a more open and sort of non-discrimination environment, like where a lot of galleries have a lot of rules that you have to follow, right? So I would say it was like the Web3 before Web3. And so she gained a really big following in Austin, and sort of this has become the continuation as Austin has grown so big that it wasn't big enough to support the stuff she was doing for her artists and her community. And so she worked together with a bunch of other investors and other activists in the space to pretty much buy this huge plot of land out by like the airport, which is about 10 minutes away from downtown, in the new Tesla Giga plant. And they're renovating that entire area. So it's going to be like kind of like another downtown sort of spot. And it's huge, and they've invested a lot of resources and time. And when I met her, she was looking for like kind of the last bit of dollars in to sort of get the get everything done. And obviously, there's only so much resources you can pull to get things completed. We're not unlimited fountains of money. So I think she was struggling in that point, and I presented Nouns to her, and I explained what obviously my background, what I believe in, and what Nouns believes in, and she just resonated immediately. Like the mission she has been doing for Hope is perfectly aligned to what the mission that Nouns has been doing in Web3. And so we found a perfect fit, and we've just been sort of crafting on what this relationship looks like. And basically, it's just we help her finish the construction build out. So all the line items are all construction. But what we get is basically a sponsorship in perpetuity and being able to highlight Nouns at every single major event that happens across Austin. That's South by Southwest, that's ACL, that's Formula One, that's Eastside Art Show, that's Consensus, that's all the other big events that happen because it's a mega. It's 6 acres. It's huge buildings that spell hope so it's just really cool that we'll always have a part. And then also one activation that we're going to launch called Nounstown, aka like the Nouns Burning Man, in 2025. So there's some really cool shit we're going to do. And so like that's bringing this big proposal to NounsDAO is it's hard because a lot of people see that dollar size. We ran into this with Nouns Esports, where we have to showcase that and Nouns Esports did such a great job of being like, if you spend these high tier amounts, the amount of proliferation and the influence you have in the space is just that much more. It just scales really well. And I think this is one of the activations. Like I don't choose, since I'm pretty busy, I don't just choose any project to really go deep. And this is just one of the other ones after Nouns Esports that I really love.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't taken a look, I would encourage them because seeing the prop and the visuals gives a lot more clarity onto it. So the park design looks very cool. It looks pretty big. And so would this be the final piece? If let's say that this passed, and then there's like that that sponsorship in perpetuity, as you mentioned. So there would maybe, I'm assuming, some Noggles branding, across whatever kind of gallery that they have or events that they have. Would this be done or would there be any other pieces that would need to be complete for this to get off the ground? Like I'm talking about the actual
the construction. Yeah, I mean, obviously your best laid plans for mice and men fall apart, right? So obviously the 950 is the best general contractor estimate to be able to get it completed this year. Now obviously you can have delays, you can have issues, you can skip deadlines. They do have other funding sources to come in and help facilitate that. Like it won't be something where it has to go back to Nouns. This will be like Nouns budgetary item to be like, hey, we've sponsored once and the thing is it's going to be completed. It's far enough along. I mean, they've already invested $7.6 million into the land and the build out. So this thing will get completed. The goal is obviously to complete it as soon as possible so they can start tapping into revenue streams with launching other events, right? That's like the self-sustaining model is they can charge hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars for some of these events. Like if they were open now for South by, which is happening right now in Austin, that's easily $1 million+ for events going on during the 2 weeks time, right? So they want to really get to that as soon as possible. And this just helps speed that delivery up. And in terms of the sponsorship, yeah, we'll be like literally the most premier sponsor. So on the name, like this really cool metal signage, we'll have a huge pair of Noggles that will happen there. We also get wall art that we're going to be, and like we showed an example. If you go to the prop, you can actually mint the first one of the series, which is we have a crew, these 3D camera crew, actually capture the graffiti of different local artists producing Nounish wall, like mural art. And then we make that 3D. So it's like a really cool piece. And then we also have like a Nounish sort of pop-up store. So all the stuff I'm trying to work with, like, all the producers of products and merchandise for Nouns can always be sold during all these big events, right? So it's something where we just have a permanent store because we don't really have a permanent store. I mean, I think the deli and then the coffee shop are our first two really right now permanent spaces. And they don't, and they have a little bit of that, the ability to like sell some Nounish goods, but this will just be another one, and much more focused on events. So there's a lot of things we can sell through. Like the number of Noggles we can sell would be insane. When we did Nouns Esports and we made it to TI in Seattle, we brought thousands. I mean, I think literally 6,000 Noggles, and we got rid of all of them. Like people want Noggles. They just love it, right? They don't even need to care about what is Nouns, what is Web3, what is a DAO. Like they don't give a shit about that. What they love is the Noggles. And if we can deliver that at events, that's where people want to use them, right? And so there's a lot of other cool stuff we can do and activate there as well.
I'm a big fan of that idea just because I've always thought like we needed like a centralized place like for all these products and stuff that people have come up with, and then it gets kind of lost in the shuffle because I guess they launched it, they were excited, they have like a separate fragmented place to get it, and then you have to kind of track them down. And it is good to know that we could have a home for this and a home that people could find it fairly easy. As you mentioned, there's tons of events, crypto events and art events that seem to come that way. Another intriguing thing you mentioned is Noun Towns Austin 2025, aka Nounish Burning Man. So maybe tell us a little bit about more of that concept. I know.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
yeah. So a lot of Nouners have been thinking about like we need to have like our own sort of festival, like our own thing to celebrate. And people have been thinking about it. And I think we're going to start this year with like the Nouns Summit or Nouns Fest, um, because it's easier to deliver. We have that whole short shorts premiere. We have the movie premiere. So thinking about something where it's more of like a movie fest combined with it. But looking forward, if we have this permanent spot, then trying to basically do like what is the most Nounish thing. And I think maybe this is me, but I think Burning Man is kind of like that. It's like the freedom of expression, the freedom of art, public goods, our own kind of economies and things that we build together, could be really cool. And this space really allows or facilitates really well for like a Burning Man like experience, because there's a lot of sections that are outdoors. There are sections indoors. There's places to camp, and so there's just a lot of really cool stuff we can optimize for an event like this. And so, yeah, I think it would be a really kind of cool, like the Web3 version of Burning Man. I don't think no one's ever tried to pull that off, and we could do a really good job. Maybe it's something we start with Nouns, and then we start to bring in, like Quirkies or other Web3 communities that want to benefit from the same thing, right? I think that's really cool.
Yeah, very cool. I do see, if I'm not mistaken, it seems that it's live. The prop is up.
Yeah, I think it went live right now.
Okay, yeah, because I see
Go
zero.
vote for.
I was gonna say 0 vote for and 0 against. So I was like, the people are just apathetic one way or the other, but that's obviously not true.
Yeah, it just started literally I think at like 6 p.m.
All right, fair. Okay, so it just went live. Go vote.
Go vote.
I'm sure that you shopped the idea around before putting it up. What was the sentiment? Because I mean, the way that I look at it, I think there's probably few things that to really rally around behind. And it seems like this kind of is a no-brainer. And you said it, it is kind of on the upper end, but that tends to, if it's well thought out, well formulated, and has substance behind it, it could have. I don't necessarily know that people care about how much it is, but your returns on it, both in times of energy and just like attention or whatever we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, exactly. I do think some people get kind of stuck on the price. That's everyone's always price sensitive. And they look at the construction budget, and maybe it was our bad to actually include an in-depth line item on every construction item. But now you're getting into the weeds of like, oh, well, why does roofing cost that much? When I do roofing, it's like this. Well, your commercial roofing with your asphalt tiles is way different than doing custom roofing for a complex, multi-level, like with containers and a bunch of other stuff that need to get done. So it's something where you start to debate the little nuance for things like that. And it just feels a bit weird when you're doing that, because it's like, hey, let's talk about, is this a Nounish proposal, right? And so I have yet, from people that I've circulated with, it's definitely a Nounish proposal. It's more of like, again, it's the bang for the buck. And so it's if spending 950K today, how well is that going to serve us over the next 5 years, or even 10 years, right? And I think this is a really unique deal with like sort of a sponsorship perpetuity, because you don't get this many options. And I've actually asked Andy, we have a tavern tomorrow night with her coming on to be interviewed about it. how would you price? I asked her, I was like, you know what, I should have included this in the proposal, but if you had to price out this infinite sort of sponsorship, like what would that cost? And it would cost a lot because I mean they're selling other sponsorships for all their events at very high premiums because of the type of space it is, and the type of people who can fill the location out, right? So I think in that case, and then it comes down to us being able to utilize it the right way, right? They do have a full events team. They have event planning. They have event directors, all that kind of stuff, and people pay them for those services. What we have access to is sort of like bring in. It's like BYOB. It's like bring your own nownishness, right? Where we're like, hey, can we use this weekend to like throw this random event that someone wants? And we have access to the space. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we kind of have this playground to use when it's not already booked for other sponsorships, right? Or other big events. And when we do those big events, we have something to be there. So, let's say they were open here for South by, and this will come, for next year's South by if this passes. And we go to them and say, hey, we'd like to do this small thing during an activation. She's gonna be like, yeah, that's absolutely perfect. We're working with these partners right now. Do you want me to connect you to them? So we just have a really good onboard to a bunch of other brands, and it's all about. I feel like again, to me, Nouns moves fast when you can partner with really great brands because the Noggles fits on everything. It just works, and we've seen that across obviously a lot of things. So the idea is that we can activate Noggles on so many good, well-known brands, but also a lot of celebrities. So the relationships and the influence that Andy has in Austin and in other locations, there are going to be a lot of celebrity activations. So being able to introduce and get pictures in social media with them wearing the Noggles. I mean, like Shepard is working on the opening poster, and that's going to be Nounish, right? We're going to add Noggles on it. Like Shepard is going to make a Nounish poster. That's freaking insane. And I put a tweet out on, or not tweet, but like a post out on Farcaster. Like this one line item might be the most missed line item of how powerful that could be. Because if Shepard came to us was like, give me like 500K to make a poster, I bet people actually would pay it up, because that's how popular and influential he is, right, in the art scene. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of things we can do. It's just hard to articulate that in a single proposal without overwhelming people, right?
Yeah, well said. I'm going to throw it to Prof here since we have Prof. Prof, I know you're driving, but you're like the queen of in real life activations. Any kind of thoughts about this in general, or anything specific that you would want to throw here? What's your take on this?
I do think it sounds amazing. I have not read the prop yet, so I got to be honest, but I will do that tonight. But it sounds pretty amazing, and yeah, I did events for quite a while. I was an event planner at one point, so I do see a lot of value in this, and to me, I believe we should be leaning in more to the brand aspect rather than other aspects of Nouns that we tend to lean towards, which is more tech. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but we've had a lot of focus on, we have a lot of tech debt and all of that. So I would much rather see something like this in this kind of proliferation, especially in a place like Austin where we know if you need that Web3 connection to have this make sense for you, you've got big, even South by Southwest has a pretty big Web3 component. Consensus is there. There's a few others. Boys Club is doing brand new, or I think they just did in Austin. So there's a lot of Web3 connections there as well as the other outside of that. But I do think the Noggles play so well regardless. So to me, this sounds like an amazing opportunity we should jump on. And also, if anyone needs an extra little push regarding the funds, here's my question. Would you rather see them used like this, or would you rather see them used back in the Arbor's hands? Because Pork 4 is coming soon. So personally, I would rather see them used like this than once again getting, rated. So just another reason to say yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually one of the reasons we worked on timing. Because there's always there's always so much polish you can do. We got a video, we did the 3D art for the graffiti wall mural. But I was like very adamant that we get it sooner than later because I was very worried about the fork. I was like, no, let's use the funds appropriately and do something ambitious so these forkers can kind of fuck off, right? Pardon my language.
I'm glad you said it. I didn't.
No,
hear it.
no,
Yeah.
That's exactly it right there.
you can go ahead and say it, especially on this show. You can say it definitely on this show.
100%, Brennan. I'd much rather see the funsies like this. I've had enough with the forkers. So.
Absolutely. We need a new T-shirt. Forkers fuck off.
I would buy it.
Which is the Muggles, yeah.
Yeah. 100%. All right. Well, it sounds like a dope prop. If you are a Nounish voter, go ahead and check it out. You can review it. I'm sure Brennan will field questions in DMs, or where's the best way to reach you, Bren?
I mean, everywhere. I'm in obviously on X, Farcaster. Obviously, we're very active there. Tavern tomorrow. So Tavern is the decentralized Web3 version of Spaces. And so yeah, we'll be having a conversation with Andy and some of her teammates. So yeah, it should be pretty good. Check that out. That's gonna be 6 p.m. EST tomorrow. But yeah, again, always hit me up.
Do you have a link for that in your?
I just put it. I just pinned it up top. I think.
Sick. Thank you.
I think I pinned it. And is it 6 p.m. EST? Like 6 p.m. EST? Or is it like 6 p.m. EST? Like it was today for us, where we were like an hour late early. Whatever.
It should be right at 6 p.m. EST.
the time, Cardinal, the time that we actually started the space, as opposed to the time that you put to start the space.
Yeah, I even put like a reminder tweet out. I was like, in 2 hours, join us, which is obviously wrong by like an hour, but all good. And I just want to say as well, I was just doing some like research in the background while Brennen was talking. I didn't know that the person he was on about was doing the poster was the person behind like Obey and the Obey logo and the Obey clothing as well. So yeah, like what he said earlier about like if you just put a proposal and announce out just for having this guy to do a normal poster, it'd probably get like half of this, if not more anyway. And probably just to echo what English said, it seems like a no-brainer, right? Because you've already had 7 million plus of infrastructure already built, and it seems like we're just putting the cherry on top by paying just under $1 million to have like permanent residency in something that a lot more money's gone into. So yeah, I wish you good luck, Brennen. I wish you the esports stuff good luck. I met Sasquatch in Denver last week for the first time. Dope guy. Love everything you're doing. And yeah, keep on going, man.
Thank you so much. Yeah, really appreciate that. And yeah, we're really excited. So hopefully we can make this project as much as a success as we did for Nouns Esports. I put my heart and soul in these type of things, and yeah, we're going to see it through.
Brennen, the proven builder. Go ahead.
One recommendation, if it does pass, I would start a channel on Warpcast to post updates and also for future events.
Absolutely. No, it's a good.
You love shilling the Warpcast. All right. Just because.
Hey, I wanted to mention one thing.
I do my thing. What can I do?
I know who you is.
That would be a great place to have updates. It would be easy to find.
Because that's where you're at. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Crush.
No, I just wanted to mention so I went to do the commemorative mint on the prop, and fucking Cardno beat me by 1 minute, so he's going to hold that over me.
Correct.
He minted before me, and he will never ever let me hear the end of it. But yeah, I had to grab a piece.
Some of us are believers, and some of us just follow other people. It's all cool.
Yeah,
it's good.
You believe more than me by 30 seconds. So
all right.
Check the chain.
Okay, boys. Just because I like to end the show with my own personal housekeeping, who's going to New York so I can meet up with them? Prof, Brennen, what's your status?
I'm not, but you realize that I live like an hour and a half from you, so I could see you anytime,
Okay.
Do I have to go to New York to see you?
We'll make it happen. All right. We'll make it happen. Huda, how about you? Huda? All right. Well, we lost Huda. Brennen, you said you're not going, right?
No, it's my wife's 40th birthday. We're gonna go to Oaxaca for her birthday.
Wow, very nice.
So it'll be fun. We're gonna enjoy the mushroom forest. So it'll be. I'll come back very changed potentially.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
hey,
happy
Brennen,
birthday.
though, aren't you going to be at FarCon?
I will be at FarCon.
I think you are. So I will see you there.
I don't even know what FarCon is. Should I?
Of course you don't. Of course you don't.
That's the Farcaster convention. Okay, very very nice. Okay, well, I'm sure you guys will have a lovely time over there. Wish Mrs. Brennen happy birthday on my behalf, and I hope you enjoy. And good luck on your prop. I think it's been a fantastic show, Brennen. Thanks for coming on. If you want to continue hearing about this prop, you can go to the top. Tavern FM. Fantastic. What is it? Decentralized spaces for web spaces.
Yeah, pretty much decentralized spaces.
All right, fantastic. It's been a great show. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Brennan, Papii, who had to leave, but thank him as well. Nounish Prof, thanks for being the fifth Beatle. As always, we should just include you in the
Yep.
next prop.
Probably should.
Maybe we'll just get rid of Crusher. I've been wanting to do that for a while, so we can just keep it four.
No, I'm only coming on if Crusher stays. That's it.
Jesus.
No.
All right. Well, I don't know. I guess
love
we
you,
have
Crusher.
we have a lot of negotiating to do. All right, fantastic guys. Thanks again so much.
I just had to mute English because I
I'm
didn't
a co-host. I'm literally a co-host. You can't mute me, dude. All right. Anyways, the show's just how we do this show every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Look forward to doing it again next Monday. We'll see you guys. I guess I'll play us out. Is that what we're doing? All right.
Yeah, go for it, man. Enjoy.
I was actually muted when he tried getting me to answer here, so what can you do? Couldn't get it unmuted in time. Anyway, good show. It's pretty damn good. That was fun. Papii's awesome, guys. If you're not following him, and of course Brennen too, but Papii's dude's a legend, and he did turn that Quirky's project around. I mean, like, boom. It's where he enters the project on the team. Price is 3x'd. So, dude's amazing. He's a legend. Trying to think if I got any last updates for you guys. I do have a video dropping tonight that's not my typical video. It's talking about a project called Mutable Trees, something I like a lot. It's an art project on Bitcoin. So be on the lookout for that. Tomorrow, back with your 5-minute morning update. We'll have NFT Live as well. Hope you guys have a great night, though. See you tomorrow. Interesting.